You've spent hours, maybe even days getting your resume just right. You wrote the perfect cover letter. You are for sure the ideal candidate. But what if I told you that you got rejected before a single human being ever saw your name? All because you paused for a second too long to think about a question, or because an AI simply didn't like your tone of voice. I know, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but this is the new reality of trying to get a job.
For so many of you watching, the answer to that isn't just a maybe, it's almost certainly a yes. The age of AI hiring is already here. And believe me, it's making huge decisions about your career in ways you probably can't even imagine.
And look, this isn't some tiny trend happening at a few tech companies. Get this, a staggering 84% of large companies are now using AI tools somewhere in their hiring process. That is a massive majority of businesses secretly using algorithms to judge you.
So let's just be super clear about this. The robots are already at the gate. AI is scanning your resume, it's analyzing your video interviews, and it is ranking you against every other person who applied. It's always watching, and it's always scoring.
And if we actually dig into the data, you can see just how deep this really goes. I mean, this isn't some small part of the process. 67% of companies use it for that first initial screening. That's the first hurdle you have to clear. And nearly half, 43%, are using AI for video and voice assessments. Yep, that means an algorithm is analyzing your face, the words you choose, and even your voice to decide if you're a good fit.
But here's the big twist in this whole story. While all these companies are rushing to bring in AI, the very people they're trying to hire, well, they absolutely hate it. And they are pushing back hard.
And you can totally see why, right? On one side, you've got people being given a score by a machine with absolutely zero explanation. And on the other, the AI itself just feels like this black box you can't connect with, which makes it feel impossible to show off your actual skills and personality. The whole thing is built on distrust.
This image just says it all, doesn't it? When you actually ask candidates, a massive 71% said they'd much rather have a human interviewer. It's not even a close competition. People overwhelmingly want that human connection, not some cold, algorithmic judgment.
And right here, this is the killer statistic that should make every company pay attention. When you force people to go through an interview process that is AI only, the number of applicants who just give up and walk away is 300% higher. Think about that for a second. You could be losing your absolute best talent simply because they refuse to be judged by a robot.
Okay, so we know candidates hate it, and they don't trust it. Well, it turns out they have a very, very good reason to be skeptical. The story gets a lot darker when you pull back the curtain and see the hidden biases that are baked right into these systems. This is the part they really don't want you to see. Let's just start with this one. AI has up to a 29% higher error rate when it's trying to interpret different accents or speech patterns. So if English isn't your first language, or heck, if you just have a strong regional accent, the AI is way more likely to misunderstand you and, you guessed it, score you lower.
Oh, but it gets worse. The AI is also analyzing your facial expressions. But the scores it gives can vary by more than 25% just based on your demographic group. The system literally has different built-in standards for professionalism depending on what you look like. So, who gets penalized by all this? Well, because these AIs are often trained on a company's past hiring decisions, they just learn to copy old biases. The data shows, plain as day, that they tend to downgrade women, minority candidates, non-native speakers, and really, anyone whose communication style doesn't fit into a very narrow, pre-programmed box. And this quote from the research just sums it up perfectly. The whole promise of AI was that it would remove human bias and make hiring more fair. The reality? It's doing the exact opposite. It's taking our existing biases, automating them, and making them even worse. So why is this happening? What is going on here? Well, the fundamental problem is that the AI is measuring all the wrong things. It's just looking for these surface-level patterns, not the deep, meaningful skills that actually matter for the job. And this slide just reveals the completely ridiculous logic that's at play. The AI rewards people who are super high energy and give these polished, rehearsed answers. But it penalizes people who do things like take a thoughtful pause to consider a hard question, or who have a more analytical, careful way of speaking. It's rewarding a performance, not actual competence. And that brings us right to the core of the issue. All the things that actually make someone a great employee, leadership potential, strategic thinking, creativity, whether they'll actually fit in with the team, all of that is completely invisible to the AI.
It can't measure those things, so it just ignores them. It's hiring for good actors, not good employees.
So after all this doom and gloom, is there a right way to do this? The answer is yes. The data actually points to a clear winner, a formula for hiring that's both efficient and fair. This is how you win in the age of AI.